everyone. Welcome back to episode 3 of TC 911 Beyond the Call, the Tarrant 911 District podcast. And today for episode 3, we have Fort Worth 911 headset hero Heather with us. Hello, Heather.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been a good morning so far.
Well, good. That is really good. So Fort Worth PD, how long have you been dispatching over there?
9 years.
9 years?
9 years, yeah.
Oh my gosh. It just flies by, doesn't it?
It does. It's like I woke up one morning and time just flew.
Now, did you have prior experience before coming to Fort Worth?
I didn't. I was extremely fortunate.
Okay, so you just came in as a newbie.
Yeah, I came in as a newbie. I came in at 20 years old.
Okay.
And yeah, I had no prior experience in public safety other than a volunteer program called the Explorer Program through Fort Worth.
Oh, okay, so you're originally from Fort Worth?
No, originally I'm from Chicago.
Are you really? Did I
am.
know that?
Yeah, maybe once or twice we've talked about it.
Okay,
yeah.
That's just my memory that's going on me.
It's okay. We've talked about Luminaldi's versus Geno's East.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? There's only 716 of y'all, so conversations sometimes flutter.
It's
Actually,
okay.
I'm going to be honest, I don't even remember what I did yesterday, so we'll just call it that.
We'll be lucky if I remember dinner last night.
Unless it was really, really good.
Yeah.
So did you move here 9 years ago then?
No, I moved here in 2011, actually, in high school. And so when my family moved down to Fort Worth for Lockheed, my dad had gotten a job at Lockheed Martin.
Nice.
And I was just along for the ride.
So shout out to Lockheed Martin. And that's fantastic. And, you know, I don't know if you go to the First Responder Bowl. Do you guys go to that?
I've never been. Or
did you go to the one this past year?
No, I've never been. I want to.
Okay. It's always in December. So this past one was December 23rd. And then we had the First Responder Bowl, which is the day after the day after Christmas. We had the First Responder Bowl, which is always a good time. So next year, get with me and I'll get you where you can get some tickets to go to that, because it's a lot of fun.
I'd love that.
Yeah. So I had a great time with that. So that's great. So both your family work there, or just your dad works there?
No, he doesn't work there anymore. He used to. Yeah, he worked security for them.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, but he's retired now.
Oh, good for him. Good for him. Well deserved. Okay. So you moved here in 2011, and then you went ahead and started.
No, so I moved here in 2011. I was a junior in high school.
Oh, that's right.
If
my mistake.
Ages me at all, and gives my age out at all.
It actually makes you sound super young, so you're good.
That's the struggle, though. People, I think, when they start in a career so early, it's like they've been there for so long, but they don't realize how young they still are.
Yes.
Because I'm already a third of the way through my career, essentially.
You're really young.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were in high school in 2011 and you were a junior.
I was a junior, yeah.
Yeah. I graduated in 99. Everybody, she just made this like cringe face. That's okay. So you were in high school, and so tell me about how you transitioned from high school to going into 911.
I was very fortunate. Fort Worth has an amazing Police Explorer program. Shout out. It's run by Rebecca Woodward. And some of actually the explorers who were in there with me have taken over the reins of that.
Oh, wow.
Josh
that's
Perez.
Cool. You get to watch everybody kind of move up and grow. Oh,
it's really amazing to see where everybody is now. So I went from that, but I was working part-time in high school. I worked at a Brahms, I worked fast food, I worked at a bank at one point, and just before getting on with Fort Worth, I was working at a Kroger as a butcher.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes me nervous at the same time, too.
It was a wonderful...
Don't make this dispatcher upset. She used to be a butcher.
Yeah, it was a wonderful life skill to learn, but I'm very happy with where I am now. I got on with Fort Worth. I got the call in October of 2014, and I was just overjoyed. I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing. It was the first big person adult realm job I had ever had, and I got hired on, and I started in February of 2015.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that is awesome. And then I mean, for the Explorer program, that's a pretty well-rounded word. It's not just police stuff, but did you guys go into dispatch and learn about certain things or sit in with the dispatchers?
Mm-hmm. So my post before the Fort Worth program became centralized in one post, it was broken up into 4 different posts. And so I was part of the Central Division Explorer post. And my advisors, they were all neighborhood police officers, which is a specialized division. We call them NPOs just for short.
Well, shout out to my neighborhood police officer. Love them.
Yeah.
So
they're amazing. I love the community outreach they do. But they had taken us down to the communications center and let us sit with call takers. They let us sit with the dispatcher for about an hour. And I just remember sitting there thinking, man, these people do so much good.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I had listened to a call where this tenured dispatcher had been able to get this really hysterical caller down, and they were able to get an address, they were able to get really what was going on, and they were able to get a call out so somebody could go help them. And that just made such a huge impression on me.
Oh, that's fabulous. You know, and I love hearing things like that because it's one of those validations of like, yep, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, it is.
This is, and I think at that moment you had what I've always heard it called as a crystallizing moment where you realize that is where what you're supposed to do, and that gives me chills.
Yeah, I was 18 years old when I went in, and I went to the communications center for the first time.
Not only could you vote, but now you can be a dispatcher.
Exactly.
You have to be 18 to be a dispatcher.
You do,
yeah,
in order to hold a TCOL license. And I got on literally started the process the next year, that next October, and got hired on the following February.
Oh, that is so super. So I love that you share the Explorer program. So folks out there in the community, if you have younger children in the family or friends, that's a great thing. And there's several cities that do it.
There
I believe.
Are.
The Explorer
you just
program.
Got to be for the Explorer program specifically, which is a subsidiary of Boy Scouts of America. You have to be 14 and out of 8th grade, and then you age out at 21. So it's if you wanted to be a law enforcement officer, you wanted to be a peace officer, you could transition from Explorers and go directly into the academy as long as you applied and got accepted.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And we've had several do that. The now Explorer advisors, we've got several. We've got Josh Perez, we've got Tyler Eaton, we've got Dutch Rebel. They were all Explorers at the same time I was. They later became officers, and now they're helping run that program.
Oh, that is so fun. Shout out to them. I like it how you just, you have to tell them.
Yeah.
Hey, hopefully you listen to my podcast. I gave you a shout out, buddy.
I gave you a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, that's great. I would never have thought of that. In my experience and what I've seen, most people that go in the Explorers, they become officers and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, were you the only one in the Explorer program that went into dispatch, or
no?
was there
we had
several?
4 or 5 actually that came to dispatch.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Are they still there, or are they? No?
They are. They are still there.
Great.
This has kind of turned into a really great recruiting tool.
That is
almost.
really
yeah,
awesome.
for our department.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That give me a little side angle of how to advertise for 911 dispatch.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the young ones to be an explorer. So that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And when you got into the job, so you knew that you were going to stay. This was going to be your forever career then.
Absolutely. I really look at this like this is kind of a second marriage for me. I'm married to my husband, and I'm married to this job.
Yeah.
I knew that whether we had the best of times or we went through tough times, I was going to stay.
Now he is on which shift is he on?
My husband, he's on second shift. He's a bike officer, actually.
Oh yeah, he's on okay.
Yeah.
On second shift? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's not one of them that sits in the morning on 20 and...
No.
Okay, I was just checking.
No, he's not pulling anybody over.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was him in the morning every time I come to the office really, really early. I'm like, I want to know who that is. Mm-hmm. But I'm in the Sally car, so...
Oh, yeah.
But I'm driving the speed. I don't have to worry because I'm always driving friendly in the Sally car.
Absolutely.
Now, my own car, I don't...
I may zip around a little bit. No, it would be funny to try to do a traffic stop on a bike. Ding, ding, pull over.
Oh, bicycle.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant bike like motorcycle.
Oh, no. He's
a motorcycle
bicycle officer.
Oh, does he go on the trails and stuff
like that? Yeah, he loves it.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so because I ride my bike on the trails all the time. So I'm going to have to keep an eye out to see if I see him.
Do. Start screaming his name from the distance. Officer Nolan.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, and then, but they ride in pairs.
That's true.
Sometimes. So then there's going to be someone else like, who's that nut job? So that's Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now I got it. I'm like, all right, I'm about to keep an eye. Is he doing it right now?
No, he works evenings, but I guarantee you he would chalk it up to that's definitely somebody my wife knows. Because he texts me at least twice a week saying, do you know this person? Because they just stopped me and had a full conversation with me. I said, I sure do.
You know what? I would actually pretend that I didn't know you, and then I would just like talk to him like randomly.
Yeah.
And just like kind of almost feel like, oh my God, this woman will not shut up. No, I won't do that. I will never try. I'll never waste her time. Plus, too, when I'm riding my bike, I'm in the zone.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't really. Yeah. I'm not a big conversationalist.
You've got a goal you got to meet.
Yeah.
You know?
Like some people are like, oh, can I come ride with you? I'm like, I mean, you can, but this isn't going to be a jolly ride where we're just going to converse and talk about life. Yeah. I mean, I usually
this is not a leisurely stroll.
Yeah. I mean, I have my tunes in. That's my best creative time. I come up with a lot of my ideas during that. So I'm like, I mean, you can come, but it's not going to be a lot of talking going on. So, can you think of a call maybe when you first started off that you knew that you were destined for this?
Absolutely, yeah.
And can you discreetly share that?
Absolutely, okay. Yeah. Because, doing this for 9 years, the majority of our calls run together, and we can't pick out specific moments, but there are literally just 2 calls in my career that I could pick out specifically, all of the details start to finish. My very best call and my very worst call, and I only have 2.
Let's stick with the best call.
Yeah, let's stick with the best call.
The best call. There we go.
The very best call I've ever had is I had a gentleman call 911 because he needed some help. He was calling from our arts district, which can be a little bit confusing because they've got some wonky streets going at weird angles.
Is that over there by, I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Give me one of the street names.
That 5-way intersection at University. And
oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Like over there by,
off of 7th.
Yes. Like if you're gonna go down Crockett Road. Well, they don't call it Crockett Road anymore. It's called something else. Oh my gosh. Who did that?
I have no idea.
Are they mad at us?
Whoever the city planner or the architect who designed that, I'm sorry.
We appreciate your work on other things. We just don't understand what happened there.
Yes.
That is
very confusing.
I get very stressed out. Yeah. You guys have to have accidents over there all the time.
All the time.
That and
honestly, it's not even the people's fault in the accident. It's confusing.
Yeah, because the lights, like you're like, wait, is that facing my way? Wait, which way do I go? I mean, and it's worse at night because you get a little bit harder to see.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Especially I have astigmatism, so like the lights are like blurry.
Yeah, so I have no doubt. So if you live in Fort Worth, you know exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. And if you don't worry, don't go to the intersection. Yeah. So that, and then also southbound 35.
Oh my gosh.
Like right outside of downtown.
Right outside of downtown.
There's an exit ramp onto an entry ramp.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh God,
so
why?
Confusing.
I just think someone's mad at us. Maybe it was their last day and they're like, take this.
Yes. This is my resignation.
This is my resignation. Are these plans?
Yes.
And they've already been approved.
Yeah.
And they're going to get built now. I finally discovered like last year, I'm like, why am I going out of the office like right here at the intersection when I can go down here and go down 4th Street and go under 35 and then come back up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
I was
much easier.
Yeah. So disappointed in myself. I'm like, 7 years later, figure this out. No problem.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? So, okay, let's talk about that good call.
My best call. And so this is a little bit, it could be sensitive to some readers or listeners, if they kind of struggle with these kind of things. But I had a gentleman call from a residence and he said, I'm scared. I just need help. I cut one wrist. I thought I wanted this, but I don't want this. I need help. But he didn't know his address. He was staying with a family member because he had just lost his apartment. He had told me he lost his wife. He lost all of his property. He was rock bottom. And he didn't know where he was. So what do you do, Sure, we had mapping at the time. We had, I believe it was the Viper phone system.
I don't remember.
I don't remember exactly. But it wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best.
It wasn't as accurate as it is today.
Yes, it's so much better today.
Yeah.
The technology we have today is insane. But he didn't know where he was. He was so upset. He was apologizing. And what can you do? Aside from reassure this person that we're going to get you the help that you need. And so I asked him, I said, what do you see around you? He was inside his house, so he's describing the inside of my house, the inside of his house. I said, okay, well, can you go to a window or can you open your front door? He said, yeah, I can do that. And he went to his front door and I heard it open. I heard the door swing open. I said, can you look at just the house number? And he found me the house number. And I said, okay, great. I've got a block range now, so I can rule out streets that don't meet this block range. And I can just look at the streets that do and try to triangulate from the map. And my rebid, the button that tries to get us a better location from the cell towers, just was not giving me anything.
Yeah, and that's I want to clarify too that the public understands that these dispatchers, they're given their tools here from us here at the district, and they have the ability to, they call it a rebid or retransmit the phone call to basically give it a reboot to see if it can pick up more of a signal. Yes, we have GPS on phones, but we can't always guarantee because of so much stuff in the air, what's going on.
Yeah.
You may have a glitch in there or something like that. And so I want to just preface that yes, the technology is better, but there may be times where, depending on how full the cell tower is or something, could cause...
and in this case, that was what was happening, is I wasn't getting a better location at all. So I started asking him, I said, can you find a piece of mail? You're staying with family. Can you find a piece of mail maybe that's laying around? He's like looking around. I know I have a house number now, but he just can't find any mail. I said, is there any documentation in there at all? Any bills maybe that's left out? And he found a water bill that was on the refrigerator. And I said, okay, what's the address? And the house number matched up to the address he gave me on the water bill. So I felt very comfortable. I was finally able to get a call dropped, because without a location, we can't drop a call.
Yeah.
So I finally was able to get a call dropped and sent over for help. And then I verified his phone number, repeated it back. We immediately got him with our partners over at MedStar.
Yay,
the
MedStar.
ambulance company. Yeah. Love them. They do amazing work, and their telecommunicators are awesome. So we got him with MedStar, but by that time, I heard sirens in the background, so I knew we were close. I knew PD was close. Yeah. Because that's a priority one call.
Oh, yeah.
That is lights and sirens. Let's get everybody there quickly. And the moment I knew we found him was the officer got out of the car and ran up. The door was standing open still. Officer gets to the door, knocks on it real hard. Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? I could hear this officer. He was so concerned. And I just knew we had found him. I knew he was going to get the help he needed. Yeah. And that was this is it moment for me.
This is where you're staying.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And the process too during that call, you guys, every dispatch center, a lot of the dispatch centers in Tarrant County are ran a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So while you're on the phone with him, you're already, once you get the actual location, you can patch in with MedStar, and then you both can stay on the line with the caller, because they're going to have to administer help because he obviously injured himself.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing that he wasn't in such a bad shape where it was like, I got to get this guy's address, but he's also making himself bleed out kind of thing. That can also be a difficult situation.
Sure.
But yeah, you guys will connect with MedStar, but you also, do you send your fire guys over there too for manpower?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So fire responds with MedStar on most calls, if not all calls.
That's what I was going to ask, because it was the same thing. It's the same thing when I was at North Richland Hills. Like, we had Haltom, so we would send Haltom's fire, but then also send MedStar.
Oh, I see. Yeah. A joint response.
So you guys, but with you guys, it's 2 other separate dispatch rooms.
It is.
So do you all just kind of handshake on that call and everybody's on the same line then?
No, so we don't typically add fire onto our lines. MedStar is great where they'll send a computer-aided dispatch sheet to fire electronically. Fire will receive the sheet and just verify information over a separate radio wavelength with them.
Okay, but you can be on the phone with MedStar. The fire department side of your dispatch doesn't have to be on the phone at all.
No, not typically. Not unless it started out as a call that required fire response.
Like it was actual like a
lift
a structure
assist
fire or a lift assist. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I wasn't really clear on that, so that's wonderful. So all right, that's great. It's unfortunate that it started off to be kind of a worrisome call, and plus it's sad because the person is at that mental state. Yeah. But that you were able to find him. Obviously grateful that he did reach out for help.
Extremely, extremely grateful. You know, anybody out there is struggling, there are resources, you know, to get them the help that they need.
And you know what? You matter to someone.
Yes.
You matter to someone. I guarantee there's someone that you matter to that
Absolutely.
that needs you here. And you know what? This big spinning ball of water that we live on, you make a difference. Everyone makes a difference.
Yes.
No matter what you do. You don't have to be a CEO of a big company. You know, I'm so grateful for like everyone.
Yeah.
Like I'm grateful for, you know, people that like clean up after people at the movie theater, clean up after sports events. That is an amazing job. I always feel bad. I actually, like in the summertime when I'm driving down the road and I see like these men and women out in the construction sites at 115 degrees.
Yeah.
I roll down the window and I'm like, thank you so much for what you do.
Yeah.
Like you're out here building things to make us more accessible
and
for us to get to places.
Our infrastructure.
Yeah.
And it really is a service. You know, I think people just don't think of it like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing on what people do. And it doesn't have to be such a label of like, oh, I make $200,000, $300,000 a year and I'm the CEO of this. That's cool too, because you worked your way up there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Your hard work is valuable, but it doesn't make anybody else's hard work
That's
at
true.
a maybe different level less valuable.
Exactly. Like I see everybody at the same level. I'm like, hey, if you're putting the work in and you're contributing, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. That is great. So that's great. So you have that. And of course, you know, you have other bad ones, but I mean, dispatchers, I know y'all have the good and the bad, and
But the good news about that is that once you kind of develop that thicker skin and you're really flowing in the job, they all blend together and they don't really affect you long term.
Yeah. I would say that, yeah, I would agree with you on that, because I spent 8 years in it. I mean, to this day now, I mean, it's been over 7 since I've done it.
Yeah.
I would say there's calls I can still remember, in particular, also with me too in particular.
Yeah.
Because one I had to go to court for.
Oh, okay.
Like I actually had to sit.
Wow.
Yeah.
9 years in, I've never had to go to court. I'm very thankful.
Usually in dispatch, you know the moment where you can just sense the subpoena, like right when it happens.
It's like in your soul, you feel it.
You just feel it. You're like, that's going to be in my mailbox next week. It's actually very rare for the dispatcher to actually sit on the stand.
Yeah.
Because the way that they do it is they do it by the chain of events.
Oh,
so
I see.
they start with a 911 call because that's where it came. My call was a person had murdered their relative, and then unfortunately they were under the influence of some really intense drugs. And murdered their relative at the house. Then came down off of this drug and realized what they did, and then called 911.
Gosh.
And nothing. And I actually was working for another dispatcher. They had to take their child to the doctor or something like that. And I was one of those dispatchers. I didn't have kids and stuff, so I was always stepping in for those who had
great team
kids.
player. We appreciate that.
Oh yeah, Christmas things like that. I was like, I got you. I don't, I don't care. Hey, that means I don't have to do dishes, for the holidays and stuff like that. Like there's strategic planning I did. Okay. Oh shucks, I have to work.
Darn.
Wah, wah. So. Unfortunately, that happened, but nothing will wake you up faster or get your day going, if you will. I'm awake, obviously, because it was really early. I think I came in at like 6 or 7.
Oh, yeah.
And this person called in around that time. Yeah. And it was, you're like 911 West Location Emergency. And then they just say, I just killed
such
and such.
Yeah.
And you're just like, and then when a dispatcher repeats it, one, they're repeating it to make sure they heard you, but they're also repeating it to tell everyone else that's sitting around them so that they understand. I mean, you guys are pretty separated. Well, no, your call takers, it's kind of, you guys are in those cubes.
Yeah, we have more like cubicles now.
Yeah.
So sometimes sound will carry over if you have an open back to another open back call taker. But if you're in a corner, those are kind of the best places to be. Yeah.
And so in this dispatch center I was in, we were in a 4 square. So all of our backs were like, we were all back to each other, but it was a 4 square. So you would just turn around and then we'd all face each other.
Yeah.
But there was no cubicles or anything, so you could hear it. So that's when I repeated it. And then everyone was like, oh. So then that way your radio person, your fire and EMS person, they already knew what was coming down.
Oh, yeah.
Down the pipe there.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so when you go to court for that, because I was on the phone with him for quite some time.
Yeah.
And because I had to make sure that there was, like, where's the weapon at that he, did it and everything like that. But everything was left with the deceased and everything. So, and he was, in his living room, and he was totally fine. I mean, he was not, like, he was off of the high.
Yeah,
and then,
he's come down.
Yeah, he's come down, and he was fine with it, with like, okay, this is what I did. I need to call this in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when they send you to court, they do it in the order of the events that happened. So the first thing will be the 911 call. And the reason why a lot of times dispatchers will not end up sitting on the stand is because the recording is, you get the recording's
a pretty great representation.
You don't have to do that. So I was really shocked.
Oh, wow.
And then I've actually gotten several subpoenas, but I never had to appear.
Oh.
And this was after that.
Okay.
And I had just started, this was like 2009, so I was only a year in.
Oh, man.
And I was like, what?
I was a freshman in high school.
Why? Okay. All right. Y'all heard it. Take out. This is dagger in my side.
Sorry.
Heather, can you take it out? So I was freshly 28. So the subpoena went in there, and then I had to actually go, and I was really shocked because I was like, they have the 911 tape.
Wow.
But I guess the defense attorney wanted me there, wanted to bring everybody in it. They were claiming other things.
Oh.
And of why he did it and stuff. And so, because he actually said another allegation on the phone with me of why he did it. But then, unfortunately, he changed his story, and then that one didn't seem to be true. So anyway, I just went there. I was super nervous. I mean, even though, like, I didn't do anything wrong or whatever, but nobody likes to hear their voice on a recording.
Oh, gosh, it's the worst.
I feel that is a universal feeling.
Yes.
No one likes to hear, especially in 911 land.
Yeah.
Because, now correct me if I'm wrong, if you agree with me on this, and there's other dispatchers listening that agree. When you hear your supervisor listen to your tapes or someone else listen to your recording, you're literally, even though you know you did a good job, you're oh, did I mess up anywhere in that call?
Oh, I QA myself. Like, I quality assurance myself. I'm like, man, did I go through this checklist of things I'm supposed to all the time?
Like, there is just not a greater anxiety moment right there. So not only do I not like that, but they played the call in the courtroom in front of all these people, and I did fine.
Yeah,
but you're also your own worst critic.
You absolutely are.
You're gonna be harder on yourself.
It's difficult not to grade yourself.
Oh God, I do that now just with other stuff. Like anytime I post stuff on social media on our sites, I'm like, does that make sense? Does that picture look okay? And someone told me, they're like, Abby, no one notices that little stuff except for you. And I'm like, okay, that's fair, but I'm still gonna have anxiety.
Yeah.
So you just they played the call, and the only thing they asked me was like, is this you? And I said, yes, that's me. But it's probably because he said so much, and we were on the call for a very long time.
For so long, yeah.
And he explained other reasons and everything like that. So anyway, kind of gone off on a tangent there, but so you've never been subpoenaed, though.
Never been subpoenaed.
Wow, good.
No.
We were knock on wood. There you go.
Goodness, yeah. So I'm fortunate.
Yeah, but if you do get called to, the chances of you going are pretty slim to none.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so
that's reassuring.
Yeah, and it's because I've been in this industry since 2008, and not saying that there are others that could have gone, but I haven't met anybody else that's gone.
Yeah, I've only met 2 people, really, that have had to go and actually like get up on the stand and talk about what.
Well, now 3.
Now 3.
Three
now
people.
3,
yeah.
But 3 people in 9 years from different agencies.
Yeah, that's a very not common. That's very sporadic, very atypical there.
And typically, if we do have to go, one of our ladies got our records custodian. Miss Jill to go. She goes typically to court for us whenever a recording is requested.
Oh, right, because she's got to give it to. She gives it to them there and stuff. Yeah, so, like I said, usually that suffices them.
Yeah,
and then they're good. I still to this day still don't understand why, because all they did was there was the question of, was that you? Yes, that was me. But then it was. The one interesting thing, I'll never forget this. The defense attorney asked me if I felt like what did she say? Something about like did you feel like he really meant to do it. It was some sort of feeling or emotional, psychological question. And I was
Like your opinion?
I don't know. It was weird. Or if I sounded like he would. And I just responded with like, I don't feel like I'm qualified to make that judgment.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I mean, it was really confusing.
That's odd, yeah.
Yeah, I was really confused by that.
Because we're an intake of information. You know, we're going to take in any information we can get from the call, but that doesn't mean we formulate any personal opinions.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
And so I really thought that was interesting and confusing. And I was just like, I'm not qualified to answer.
That's very odd.
Because I remember when she asked it, the counsel from the other side, like everybody just like quickly jerked their head and looked at her, and I was just sitting there like, oh God, I'm like, it took me a minute.
Yeah.
It was like if someone asked me a math question, but I was I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, you have to process that one. What do you mean?
I can't tell you that. So
911 call takers and dispatchers, we got to walk that line of objectivity. You know, we don't get to have a personal opinion on one side or the other. So
you almost have to give, you have to make sure that if you're going to give some sort of help, I wouldn't say advice, that's not a good word to use, but if you're going to give help or resources, you need to cite your sources. I always think of it as the same way. If you're writing a paper and you give statistics, you provide where those are at.
Yeah.
So it's like anything that I do online for my job currently, like if I get these are facts, I provide the site where I got those facts from, so people don't come back at me and say well, this is what Tarrant County 911 said. Well, this is where I got it from. So so you should that's a good lesson in life for anything.
Yeah.
Cite your sources, point the finger to someone else, and then you've covered yourself on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of a few things there that you said you haven't done yet. So that's good. Hopefully that still stays the same and you don't have to go there. I am going to feel so bad if you contact me in a few weeks.
I'm going to call you next week and be like, here it is.
Hey, guess what, Abby? Thanks a lot for jinxing me. Now I got to go to court. And I'll be like, well, let's see if you really go.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that.
When I first started with Fort Worth 9 years ago, I really thought I'd be going to court a lot more often. When I first started, the very first paycheck I ever got, I went out and I bought myself a conservative navy blue suit, right? 3-piece suit, a nice white shirt, the navy blue jacket, and navy blue dress pants. Thinking to myself, this is going to happen. Has not happened yet.
But you still have a nice stylish suit.
That doesn't fit anymore.
Because it's too big?
No, girl. It's okay.
I was trying. I know going in there.
Children, marriages later.
That's because your muscles are so big, Heather.
Exactly.
What? You just need to keep those guns in control.
I know it.
Guns is in muscles, not anything dangerous. So what are some of your goals that you have thought about, or where you would like to see yourself in 5 years at Fort Worth 911?
In 5 years, I'd like to see myself independently teaching our state licensing class. This past January, I was really blessed. I was given the opportunity to go and learn, and I have a really great mentor at Fort Worth that has really given me some great tips.
You want to give him a shout out?
Yeah, Mandy is, her training's amazing.
Yay,
she
Mandy.
will put you through it, but all for the right reasons.
Go, Mandy.
Yeah, absolute best. But I really want to see myself teaching that state licensing by myself. I think I got very nervous because I'm not used to speaking in front of large groups.
Yeah.
And as a dispatcher, we're kind of used to being by yourself.
A lot of 911 dispatchers are introverts.
Yeah.
And that's completely understandable, and that totally works. And it's very sporadic for those that are extroverts. And so it's just, you got to kind of...
I want to bring myself out of my shell a little bit. I want to be able to teach this class, and it would be so valuable for our department to be able to license our own people effectively and have the instructors to do it. So that's my goal, is to be a TCOL basic instructor, completely able to stand on my own.
Oh, that's excellent. Now, what kind of steps can you start working on now to get there? Is it just more like you need to work on your public speaking?
Yeah, I definitely need to work on my public speaking. I definitely need to make sure that I have a master understanding of the material in itself, because it's been 9 years since I went and got licensed myself. Yeah. So going back to it, even though I've taken the basic instructor course through TC 911, shout out to the instructor Sophia, she was wonderful.
Hey, all right. I actually took that class, and then I make sure to remind them that I took that class. Those ladies do a great job. I'll just leave it to them.
Yes.
Now, if they're in a pickle, then okay.
Yeah.
I can help out, but It's interesting because I'm always like, I'll go out in the public and talk and everything like that. But I'm like, classroom? I don't know.
Oh,
That's
man.
why they're here, because they do such a great job with that. So that's their craft.
Yeah. I got to work on public speaking. I got to work on confidence. You know, I do kind of shy away, or like if I can't give the best example, I'll turn to my co-instructor, whomever, and like look for a lot of help, but I got to work through it.
Yeah.
You know, I got to make sure that my examples are on point. I got to make sure that I'm fully capable of answering all of these questions, because I know I can do it. I think I just get so nervous.
Sure.
You know?
Well, I think it goes to being critical of ourselves,
Yeah.
and judging and things like that. And
I can't
almost
grade
like
myself.
self-sabotage. You
Yeah.
know, everybody does that, or at least a lot of people I know that do that.
Yeah.
And public speaking is, I mean, I guess for me it's not, I just do it. So it's just kind of been, and I'm an extrovert. Mm-hmm. So it just kind of comes with the whole gift basket of my personality. But I can definitely see how it could be a struggle for those who aren't used to it. Like, you're going to try to change your personality, because that's going to change. It is going to change your personality, because you're going to become more, if you're teaching more, then you're going to start kind of being like, oh, I can talk to other groups and things like that. And that's why when dispatchers, they go and do public events and stuff like that with 911, I'll give them like my trivia cards or something. I'll give them some sort of tool to help them out to do that, because I want to help them to be able to converse with the community and the public and whatnot. And so, that could be a great test for you, is to, do community events, get with your agency or whatever. Or you can also, Sophia and Elena, I'm sure they could fill that room and have you practice. Like, we could have,
I would love that.
If we have, if I don't want to volunteer a whole staff.
I feel that.
But, that would be great if we get a few staff members and you could try a few things or whatever. But I'm sure that those ladies would be able to help you in that, because it is a little different. A classroom setting versus being out in the public and having candid conversations is a lot of, it's somewhat the same, but then it's also really different, because it's kind of like a catch-22, because you have to follow a course. You have to follow the agenda of that course per TCOL. So
yeah, exactly.
You got to stay on track.
So it's not like you've created this own material and lesson plans yourself.
Now, you can actually get to that point.
Oh, eventually, for sure.
Yeah, you can get to that point, because you can create your own stuff, and as long as you submit it to Big Brother down there, then they'll make it into the curriculum, and then you do your thing, because those two geniuses do it all the time.
I love that.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you create that? Man, I just do graphics. That's it. That's what I do.
There's so much planning that goes into it, and there's so much prep work, but I want to do it. I really would love to be able to teach our licensing and then branch out to other classes, give our people in service, invite smaller agencies to receive additional training, because you're always training in this career. There is no such thing as completing an education. You are constantly learning.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important for you guys also, because you are one of our biggest agencies. And I mean, it's you and Arlington, and you guys are pretty much neck and neck, but you guys are so big within yourself. So it's nice to have, it would make sense to have the in-home thing.
Oh, yeah.
In-house thing for your own, because you guys have so much. Because when you hire people, you have like 30 people that you bring in there. Yeah,
we like to try to get bigger classes. This past year, the biggest class I've seen, I think, started out as 11, but it's hard to recruit. If we could get those big classes, I'm sure we would love that. We just need to have the infrastructure.
Last one I heard, you guys had 30 in there or something like that
for telecommunicator.
Yeah, it's been a while though. Maybe it was like a few months ago. I mean, we're in January, so maybe, I don't know.
I don't do the recruiting or hiring
told
part.
Me that. Somebody told me that. Or maybe they thought it was 30.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Maybe it was 30 applicants, but not everybody went in there.
I see what you're saying.
So there could be a little confusion there. So, well, that's great. Well, I have no doubt that you would not be able to exceed those goals. I think that is a brilliant goal for you to have. And I'm glad that you have a goal to go to. And, and that's what's so great about the 911 career is It's your choice. It's your choice. If you are just like, hey, I am Peachy King Jelly Bean, just to answer 911 calls and do this, and I really have no desire to be a CTO,
teacher or
a trainer or be an instructor or anything like that, and I just love the job and I just do my thing, punch in, punch out, whatnot.
Oh yeah,
you could do that,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I want to be a training officer, or I want to teach, or I want to be a supervisor, or I want my communications manager's job.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many opportunities to go and dispatch in various different cities.
Yeah.
The bigger ones are going to have probably a few more slots because that makes sense because they're bigger. So you're going to have a Q&A position, quality control calls, and, different supervisors and things like that. So it's in fact, what was it last month you guys were in November you guys were hiring for the assistant manager position. So that does come out, you just have to kind of stay on task of, keeping an eye on that if that's where your career wants to be. But if you're already in-house, you're going to hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
First and foremost. So
for sure.
That's excellent. Well, I wish you all the luck with that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Do you have some 911 education tips for our good friends, the public out there that are listening? Something that, as a Fort Worth dispatcher, I will tell you that, we do have a million people in this city.
Yeah.
We have grown in Fort Worth.
We certainly have.
It's a lovely city. I love Fort Worth, but we, it's like we're kind of outgrowing our britches a little bit. So, obviously some of the frustration is, there's only so many lines that run into 911.
Yes.
And, you guys are trying your best. So if any educational tips that you have that can help with the public, go ahead and let's hear them. What you got for them?
Number one, always know your location.
Oh, yeah.
Location. The number one thing we need to drop a call is where are you now, or where is the location you're calling about. I know a lot of people, when they get on the highways, they kind of zone out because they have this muscle memory of where they're going.
Oh, right.
Always know what highway you're on. People a lot of times confuse 20 and 30 because they join together on the west side as you go out to Parker County. And so we'll have somebody clearly showing to be in the 30 area saying, hey, I'm down at 20. We got to really make sure for them, because then they'll start giving exit names that, are you sure you're on 20? Because I don't think that 20 and that street intersect. Always know your location and stay patient. If you don't get an immediate answer on the 911 lines, please do not hang up. Please do not hang up. It will send you to the back of the queue. Yes. And then we're going to call you back on that first hang up before we can get to your live call on the second.
Right. So that's, and I share that with the public a lot. So thanks for bringing that up.
Absolutely.
Too, is that empty slot that slot you just made empty because you hung up, the dispatcher has to get to that. Everything is in, the order that it was received. So when they do get to that call, you're not there, but they'll pick up the line and then it'll be like, oh, there's no one there. They disconnected.
Yeah.
So then you've moved yourself back. So just be patient. Or if it's not an emergency,
Call non-emergency.
Or use the My Fort Worth app.
Oh, yes.
That app is brilliant. I
Love
wish
my Fort Worth
every
app.
city has that.
Absolutely.
They have everything in there.
They do.
Like
and
everything.
Not only use the My Fort Worth app, but also go to our police department's webpage. If you have reports that can qualify for online, which typically is there was no injury, if it's a vehicle accident where it's a hit and run, vehicles are drivable, nothing's left behind, all of that, a lot of this stuff can be done online.
Yeah, what's that, the blue form or something like that? Is that what that's called? The paperwork?
No, we don't really use the Texas blue form anymore, but you can file an actual hit and run accident report online now, as long as nobody's injured, both vehicles are drivable, and nothing was left behind by the other driver.
Yeah, see, there you go. Those are some great tips. But yeah, I cannot express, and I'm a Fort Worth resident.
Oh yeah,
and that app, I love that app because it eliminates all these calls going into, because when you call non-emergency, you're still calling into the 911 center.
Yeah.
You're just on a different line.
Yeah,
but
you're
it eliminates,
answered in a different order. We get the 911s first.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, rightfully so.
Yeah.
That app is so great because it just eliminates those calls, because still, if it's non-emergency or emergency, there's still calls coming in. It's still occupying your time and things like that too. So we want you all to be available to answer 911 calls.
Yeah.
And It's so amazing. The other day, I actually went through that app and I was like, oh my gosh, there is I think they've added stuff, more things.
Yeah,
that
it's
you can
constantly being improved.
Like, it's just crazy on how much is in there. So, folks, I mean, things from if you see the purple street lights, that means they're going to get ready to go out. It's not because they love TCU.
Yeah.
It's because they're going ready to go out. I think there was an article published about that because someone's because I think it happened right around the time that TCU was winning.
Yes.
And then everyone, even I said it. I was like,
it's got to be a TCU
Did
light.
they change these for TCU? But then finally some brilliant reporter put it out on Fort Worth Inc. or something like that, or Fort Worth Report, about how it's not for TCU. It's because the lights are getting ready to go out. So you can actually report that, or if an area is dark, or the lines on the street, or there's everything you can put on that app is there and available, and it allows you to put pictures and whatever. I mean, download
abandoned vehicle calls or parking violations. Yeah, you can attach a photo of the vehicle.
Yeah, damaged streets, things that need to be worked on, if whatever, and of course, if it's something that is posing immediate threat to property or persons, meaning if there is a huge sinkhole in the middle of the street, don't put that on the app. Let's call that in.
Yeah.
So things that pose a threat to, that kind of stuff. If that's going to totally bottom out someone's car, then they probably need to know about that. But please download that. So those are great tips.
Thank you.
I love that. Yeah. And of course, call if you can, text if you can.
Yes, text if you can't. Can we talk about that for a second?
We can totally talk about that.
Let's talk about that. I am becoming a fan of text to 911.
Okay, it's not that bad, right?
It's not that
it comes
bad.
in the same. It comes to you guys in the same program.
Yeah.
Our tech team, they know what they're doing. I know that it was scary.
It was a little scary.
A lot of dispatchers are like, oh my gosh, they're just picturing remember instant message apps on AOL, and you just get all these bing, 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 bing. I have a feeling that all dispatchers thought that was what's going to happen.
That is exactly what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have a ding every 0.7 second and just
BRB.
Constant, TTYL, talking to my BFF.
Yep, no abbreviations, folks.
Yeah. Please type it all out. But I love that you can also text if you're in Spanish, and we can have one of our Spanish call takers come over and assist with that.
That is going to be. I have to put a disclaimer on that. The text to 911. So if you call 911 and you speak a different language, and they don't have an on the job, someone who speaks that language, interpreter on that, then they will use a company that we provide to all the dispatch centers in Tarrant County, a translation service that they can find that person that they can immediately, and it's quick. I mean, they're very quick. I don't want you to think that, oh God, I gotta wait 10 minutes to find. No, it's very quick. They have that. Now, if you text, that service is not available.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is one thing to remember. You could get a 911 dispatcher that speaks that language, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But there is not a translation service with text to 911.
Yeah.
So we don't provide one. So whatever each individual city does, that's...
Yeah, thank you for the clarification on that.
On that one.
Yeah.
So no, you're okay. It's good. It's good education for that.
Yeah.
But text is great. And you guys are really good too about... reminding them hey, if it's safe to call, you can go ahead and call too. So, which we haven't, I have to say our numbers, as a county, because I get all of the numbers.
Oh, from all of
the dispatch centers and stuff. Text has been, it's increased, but not by much.
Not by much.
When it first started, we were in the mid 300s, and now it's kind of, maybe 410, something like that. It's not too terribly high, but it's, maybe a lot of that is still people, knowing that we still have it available in this county, and it's available all in North Texas too. In fact, I think it's available predominantly pretty much in all of the whole state.
Yeah.
So there may be some areas that don't. So don't quote me on stuff if you're in a little tiny town out in West Texas, wherever. I don't know. The state's huge. You could always contact your local law enforcement agency and ask them if they have
if they
text
have
to
it
911 available.
Yeah.
And a lot of times law enforcement agencies are really good about responding to messages on social media.
Yeah.
So if you message them on social media, because guess what? That goes to somebody's cell phone, because that's how mine is.
Yeah.
So it
make sure
dings
it's
to
not
me.
an emergency, but for general questions, for sure.
Do not report emergencies on there. But if you have a general question like, hey, text to 911 or something that you're okay with waiting for, then send them a message on social media. And I mean, I've even sent Fort Worth Fire Department a question one time, and they responded back because I was on my bike, and they were doing something out at Trinity Park, and I was like, I took a picture of it and I sent it to Fort Worth Fire, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? And then they were like, I mean, I was just riding I didn't care. And they're like, oh, we were just doing some training. We had some new guys or something like that. This was quite a while ago, but
I love that.
But anyway, so yeah, that's great. I love the tips. I love getting that perspective from the Fort Worth dispatcher on that. So I really appreciate you coming in and chatting with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It wasn't that bad, was it? Wasn't that scary?
No, this was great.
We were good.
Yeah.
We were all good. We talk about as much stuff we can, and even some offside topics if we can bring that in there to have more of an entertaining conversation.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, Heather, thank you again for your time, and thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
Especially with how much this city has grown. I mean, we are Tarrant County is such a popular area.
It is, yeah.
And
we're only going to get bigger.
I know. I can't imagine what things are going to look like in 5 to 7 years from now.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to get flying cars.
We're going to have to, something.
Yeah, because then, unless they build another weird off and on ramp that we can't. Can you do that in the air?
I don't know. 35 is never done with construction. So who knows?
Who knows? We have to do like a double decker layer or something like that. But oh, goodness me. But again, thank you for your service. Thank you for all the years you've served
thank you.
And I appreciate you being on here. So folks, thank you so much for listening today. If you have any questions or comments regarding this episode or any of our episodes through season 1, 2, or currently 3, you can email me at publiced@tc911.org. You can check us out on all social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all that fun stuff. Check out our website at tc911.org and leave me a message. Let me know what you think, or if you have questions, something that we can answer, I'd be more than happy to help you out with that. So until next time, have a fabulous week.